Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I bring you greetings in the name of God the Father, in the name of God the Son, in the name of God the Holy Spirit. On this social media, we humbly want to invite all and sundry to be with us as we discuss the issue that is confronting the whole world. By the grace of God, we have invited a noble and a renowned doctor who happens to be one of us. He's a very good Christian, a dedicated and committed, devout and devoted man of the Most High God. We want him to help us understand what is coronavirus, what are the problems, its associated problems, and how we can also help ourselves so we will not be affected by this pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I humbly want to introduce to you Dr. Justice Arthur.
Thank you, Reverend. Brethren, indeed, we are in difficult time, and it calls for us to have the knowledge and understanding of what is going on. When we are well informed, it will take away our fears, our anxieties, and we'll do the right thing. At this time, as I say, you have to put on your thinking cap, because if you allow fear to come in, you tend to act irrationally, and that could lead to problems. Coronavirus, COVID-19. I want to give you some statistics. Today, as at 5 p.m., all over the world, now we over 500,000 infected. 574,834 people have been infected. It could be more, and these are those that have been confirmed. We have 26,367 deaths from coronavirus. The disease started in China. Now, United States of America and China have overtaken, and Italy have overtaken China. US having about 93,000 people infected, Italy 86,000 and over. So the disease is on the increase. In Ghana, we have about 136 confirmed cases. So we should know what we are dealing with and what we can do. God has not given us the spirit of timidity or fear, but has given us the spirit of boldness and of sound mind. So I think at this crucial time, Christians should be armed with the necessary knowledge and know what to do. What is coronavirus? It's not just a single virus. A group of viruses that under the microscope have the shape of a crown. So corona is the Latin word for crown. That's how they look like. Usually it's present in humans and in animals, and in humans causes cold-like sicknesses. Viruses usually do not exist or multiply on their own. They need a host. And viruses can change from one host to another. So you can say viruses can jump from an animal to human, and this is what happened. early part of this century, there was this SARS, which also started in China. Then in Middle East, some few years ago, there was this MERS. So in all these cases, the viruses were in animals and they come to human beings. How does it happen? Human beings are always interacting with nature, animals. And for one reason or the other, the viruses which formerly live in animals come into the human beings and they are able to adapt and start multiplying. Now, when they are able to adapt and start multiplying, the human body will try and fight against it. If the human body is able to fight against it and it will kill the virus, that ends it. But if it's able to stay, it will always find a way to leave the human body and go to another person. Then it comes to what we call human-to-human transmission. So initially, it was animal to human. So when human-to-human transmission is established, that's when you have it moving from one person to the other. How does this coronavirus or COVID-19 spread? It usually lives in the throat or the upper airway down to the lower airway of a person. So when a person sneezes or coughs, it leaves the body. Usually, the droplets or the fluid that come from your mouth or your nose, if you have the virus, will contain the virus. Those droplets cannot travel further than 2 meters, but mostly within 1 meter, those droplets will fall. They can fall to the ground, they can fall on objects. And if the person has the virus, you are standing very close to the person, then the virus can fall directly on you. So when these droplets fall on your face, your airway, and you heal, then you can get this virus. So that is the droplet transmission. On the other hand, if you come into close contact with somebody having the virus, the surrounding of that person could be contaminated. So you can catch the virus through your hands or other parts of your body. Then ultimately, when your hand gets to your face, then you also get this virus. Unconsciously, somebody has calculated that each one of us will touch the face about 15 times in an hour. So the chances that you will touch your face is very high. Now, if somebody is having this virus, he coughs, he sneezes, he touches the face, touches the doorknob, the table, or whatever surface, that place is contaminated with the virus. This virus usually is said to be active outside the body for up to 10 hours or few hours. But it has been found that it can stay on metal surfaces for days. One steady observation says 3 days, another say 9 days. There was a cruise ship, I'm sure Diamond Princess, which a lot of people on that cruise ship, over 700, contracted the virus. After the ship has docked, 17 days after, the virus was found to be alive. Now, viruses are such that they keep on changing their nature, their genetic material. So this COVID-19, which started in China in a seafood market, now has another mutant, which means it has divided into another virus altogether. It has changed its genetic material. All these are means for them to survive. So now we are dealing with more than one, 2 viruses. Even now it could be more, we don't know. As at now, we know there are only 2 viruses which is circulating. Now, this virus gets into you, as I said, through droplets, direct contact, contaminated hands. When it enters the body, it takes some time before the disease will appear. It is called the incubation period, usually 2 to 14 days. But for most people, on the 5th and the 6th day, symptoms will start. And it might interest you that there are some people who will be tested for the virus, but they will not show any sickness. These are the asymptomatic carriers, and those are the people who are spreading the disease. So you can be with somebody who is not showing any symptoms. I will just tell the symptoms, but that person will not show any sickness. So they go around touching surfaces which will be contaminated, and another person will touch it and you contract the virus. So usually, if you get the virus, there are about 80% which we say will have mild symptoms. 40% will have severe, and about 6% will have critical condition that will need hospitalization and even assisted breathing. You need a machine, a ventilator to help you to breathe. So most people who have the viruses are not seriously sick. They are very few. They will be in the hospitals. But the rest who do not appear sick or have mild symptoms, if they go about their normal duties, go everywhere, that is how the virus spreads. So after 2 to 14 days, if you have the virus, you will start having high temperature, 38 and above, which we call fever. Then you have cough. Ultimately, if the disease progresses, you have breathlessness, that it affects your lungs, you get pneumonia. But there are other symptoms which we say they are mild symptoms. Like most infectious disease, you have muscle pains, you can have headache, you have tiredness, you may have some sore throat. Usually this coronavirus COVID-19 does not present with catarrh or runny nose. But some people who have had it, we say they have stuffy nose. So if you have these symptoms, depending on whether it's mild, severe, or critical, it will determine where you will be. So those who are seriously sick find themselves in the hospital. It doesn't affect all the population the same. Men are mostly affected than, males are more affected than the females. And it also affects the elderly. They get the severe cases, especially those 60, 70 and above. They get the serious sicknesses. And especially those what we call comorbidities, or have some underlying sickness, especially those with heart conditions, those who have hypertension, those who have diabetes, or those who have chronic respiratory diseases. They tend to have serious cases, and which at times lead to death. As we are talking now, the case fatality, that those who die after contracting this sickness vary from one place to another. China had to about 3%. Now you go to other places, it's about 4% getting to 6%. So it depends on the population. It depends on the health system. And it depends on your ability to even to detect there is this virus in your population. So as at now, there is no treatment. Those who have this disease and recover usually recover between 2 to 6 weeks. So when you are tested and you have the virus, after 2 to 6 weeks and we don't have the virus, we say you have recovered. Unfortunately, some people who have recovered have also been found to have the virus again. So which means your immunity is not complete. You can lose the immunity, your body's ability to fight the sickness, that same sickness. So some people have had reinfection. So it's a possibility. That's why you have to take all the precautions. Do we have treatment for COVID-19? WHO has not come out with a definite treatment. Now there are several trials going on all over. People are testing a lot of antiviral drugs. Since it's a virus, drugs that have been used for viral diseases in the past, HIV, hepatitis, SARS, MERS, people are using it. You might hear in the news that chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine together with azithromycin has worked for some people. But that has not been generally accepted as the treatment. So as at now, we say we don't have treatment. What we do is we give supportive treatment. And the body will fight against diseases. The drugs or medications that will be given might help the body to recover. But for now, we say we don't have definite treatment. Those who have mild conditions usually might stay in their house. It's only the severe and the critical cases that might end up in hospital. And those people will need oxygen or will need assisted breathing, a machine that will breathe for them. So our only hope, I'm talking to believers, is that God will intervene and give scientists, researchers the knowledge to find a treatment or a vaccine that will stop this pandemic. To develop a vaccine takes a lot of time, 6 months up to 1 year. So people are working on getting a vaccine, but now there is no vaccine for it. So our hope is prevention. And the means of prevention stems from the mode of transmission. Now, if it comes from droplets from your mouth or your nose, we know that it falls on surfaces, it's not airborne. So up to 2 meters, that is where the virus can be. But if you are closer to the person, less than 1 meter away, and you meet with the person, sit for a very long time, your chances of getting the virus is very high. But if you are further away, since it's droplets and it falls to the ground, you are not likely to get it. That's why social distancing is being advocated. That we have to separate ourselves from one another 1 meter to 2 meters, because you don't know who has the virus. Because there are some people who are feeling okay, but they have the viruses. Then, cough etiquette. If you have the virus and you don't contaminate your surroundings, people will not get it. So if you are coughing, it's advisable you cover your mouth and your nose. Preferably with a tissue paper, and you discard it immediately. Because if you use handkerchief, you are likely to put it in your pocket or drop it somewhere. So we recommend that you use tissue paper to cough or sneeze, then you discard it immediately. So that is the cough hygiene. If you don't have tissue paper or handkerchief or anything to cough into, it's advisable you cough or sneeze into your elbow. That one, your hands will not be contaminated. Then since the virus at times is found on surfaces, if you touch it and you clean it from your hands, it will not get to your face and to your airway. So if you wash your hands, there are viruses. You won't see that it's on your hand. But you assume that you have touched surfaces and you have it. So the best thing is to wash your hands with soap and water, under running water, not less than 20 seconds. If you do that, we hope it will help. If you don't have soap and water, you are to use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. The percentage should be 70 and above. Anything less will not be able to kill the virus. So if you are going for alcohol-based hand sanitizer, look at the percentage so that it will be able to kill the virus. Also, as a means of prevention, if somebody has the virus and is sick, we keep the person in isolation. So seriously sick people are not supposed to be in the society or in their homes. We isolate them. When we isolate them, there's a special team that take care of them. And in taking care of them, they need what we call personal protective equipment. You protect yourself from your head to your feet. You cover every part of your body before you can take care of the sick people. So we do not advise that you take care of the sick if you are not fully protected with PPE, personal protective equipment. This personal protective equipment, there are different types that we use under various conditions. It can be a face mask, it can be a glove, it can be a coverall, which is like this overall that artisans use. But that one, it has a part that covers your head and part of your face. Then we also have goggles that you wear, so that you'll be fully protected before you can take care of the sick person. Now, we say the virus is in droplets, it's not airborne. But if you go to the hospitals, there are some procedures. Said procedures generate aerosols, that are small droplets of water. Now, these aerosols can stay in the air for about 3 hours. So if somebody has the virus and you are doing these procedures for them, or they are in a room, you are doing these procedures, these aerosols are generated. These viruses can stay there, and in 3 hours it will be suspended in the air. So whoever inhales that air can be infected. But usually it's in the hospital settings. So there are precautions that health workers will have to take. Then in the community, there are also precautions that you take. Most of the transmission that we have in Ghana is imported. People who apparently were not sick came to the country. There were supposed to be measures, but I'm sure it was not that strong enough, so they sneak into the country. The 1,003 people that had to be housed in hotels for observation. Out of them, we have about over 78 of them being positive. If those people have joined the population, it would have been serious. So we have imported cases, and we can also have community transmission. So what is happening in Italy, Spain, and most countries is community transmission. When you get transmission in the community, it's very dangerous. Now, Ghana Medical Association, of which I'm a member, we are advocating for a lockdown. Lockdown means everybody will stay indoors. Only essential services, like the hospitals, the fire service, the police, will work. Everybody stay indoors. Other countries, and it has worked. So suggestions have been made to the government to be considered that if you really want to prevent the spread of the disease, there should be a lockdown in one way or the other, probably partially. Now the disease is mainly in Kumasi, Accra, and Tema, so that there's no vehicular movement to and from Accra, Kumasi, and Tema. Is to wash our hands with soap and water, hand sanitizers, keep social distance, stay away from gatherings that are not very, very necessary. We know church service is necessary, but for this condition, we have been asked to stay away from church. There is a case in South Korea where a Chinese lady entered South Korea. She found herself in a hospital not because she was sick, because she was involved in an accident. She didn't get injured, but she thought she had to go to the hospital. They examined and they said you are okay. You are coming from China. This is at two different places. Now, it's after 5 days or so that she got seriously sick. By that time, she has infected over 6,000 people. So one person accounted for 60% of infections in Korea because she refused testing. She went to a gathering, church services, and also she went to a public gathering, a party. So we are asking that please, let's stay away from gatherings, and if it's necessary, let's keep distance of not less than 1 meter. Let's practice hand hygiene. Let's use practice cough etiquette. If you go to the hospitals or some facilities, you are obliged to wash your hands. Place is in your own interest. And when you are leaving, you do same. Because there are a lot of people who have the virus, who are contaminating the surroundings, yet they don't feel sick. It could be serious. Since we don't have treatment, being armed with this knowledge, I think we'll be able to protect ourselves. I think those around, if you have any question, you should be able to ask. I hope I've exhausted most of your questions that you may have. What virus it is, where is it found, what symptoms it causes, who is at risk, how it is transmitted, the signs and the symptoms. We've also known about it. Then let me talk about testing. We have what we call suspected case. We have what we call probable case, and we have what we call confirmed case. Now, if you have this high temperature, you are coughing, and you have difficulty in breathing, and have traveled down from any of those countries where there's community spread. Formerly, it was China. Now, in countries that you have high number of cases. Now, even in Ghana, we are taking at those who have traveled to towns where there is community spread. It's very important. Or you have come into contact with somebody who has been diagnosed with coronavirus. You are a suspected case, and we have to test. If somebody falls sick and dies, having come into contact with somebody or travel from a place where the disease is there, and the person did not have chance to be tested, we say it's a probable case. Probably it was coronavirus, but we did not have the chance to test. But now, one thing which is most interested to health workers is not only those who have come closer to them, we have to find them. Then we ask them that they may have to be in isolation, quarantine them. Then health workers will follow you, will be asking you questions every day, how you are feeling. And if you have the symptoms, then we have to test you. Unfortunately, we don't have much test kits to do mass testing. Now USA is doing mass testing. That's why their numbers are on the increase. But since we don't have enough test kits, now there are only 2 reference labs in aware. We have to make provision for what people can wash their hands with. And if you go to the hospitals, they are what we call holding areas. If we suspect somebody might have the disease, we keep that person in that holding area. Anybody who goes near this person should have your personal protective equipment. Then somebody comes and takes a lab sample. It's usually taken from what we call the nasopharynx or oropharynx, that behind your nose and in your throat. And this sample taking is termed highly contagious. So there's a way to package it and even send it to the reference lab. And when it gets there, there are precautions taken not to contaminate the surroundings. It's highly contagious. So we are asking that let's all take the necessary precaution. Yes, few people are dying, but we have to protect the vulnerable in society, the aged, and those who have chronic condition. Now, if you are a young person and you have a kidney problem, you have asthma or chronic chest condition, you are also at risk. So all of us should take care of ourselves, of our loved ones, the community at large, then we'll be safe. We hope very soon, if we take the necessary precaution, God will be merciful on us and we will be able to overcome this coronavirus. Because of this, things are not usual when you go to hospitals, when you go everywhere. Socially, we have been affected. No church services, funerals, weddings, and everything. So we are really in difficult times. So please, let's take the necessary precautions. Let me answer this question before you ask. Are hospitals ready? I will tell you, we are ready for mild cases. The severe cases, which we need ventilators, we might have ventilators for 1 or 2, but for a lot of people might not have the ventilators. So our hospitals, I think, are ready for mild cases. But the severe cases, when they come in numbers, our health system will be overwhelmed. But we are doing things in our own small way to prevent the infection. So if you go to hospital, there is something they call IPC, Infection Prevention Control. We do all things whilst going about our duties to prevent infection from being transmitted from one person to the other. I think I will pause here, and if we have questions from our listeners, I will try and address them. Yes, it's difficult, but there is hope if we do what is right. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. I want to thank our doctor. Again, here is Maranatha Assemblies of God Church, Cape Coast, behind the Metropolitan Assembly. Our qualified medical doctor has given us insight into the coronavirus. Now I want to pause for about 2 minutes, then we'll ask questions so he can help us clear that which baffles our mind.
I have some questions. I'll have to admit this is a new virus. We don't know everything about the virus, so it's still under study. So what we know today can change tomorrow. Somebody is asking, how are males affected than females? I will try and answer. Your surviving depends on your immunity. Now, if you come to science, biology, women are those who prolong the stay of humanity. So nature or the humanity has made it said that women will have more resilience than men. If there are families of, let's say, 100, and all the people die and is left with one female, that one female after some time will be able to repopulate that population. But if one male is left, to repopulate that population will be very difficult. So I think in science we will say there is somehow selection of those who will help the human population to continue. I think that is why the females survive more than males. Now, males in general, as somebody also has a theory, we have risky behaviors. Now that they say we should stay indoors, I'm sure females will be more obedient than men. Men can take some risk because they are men and they are strong. So as you may know, when people were asked to stay indoors, some people went to watch football. And I read somewhere that most people went to watch a football in Italy. At that match, I think Atlanta and one team, most people have been infected. Now, how many women were at that football match? Very few, if any. So men, because of their activity, adventurous and other things, I'm sure are more exposed than women. That's how I can explain that. Has there been anyone who has been divinely healed? Now, I have testimonies of people who says that they believe they were healed by God. I have a video of a Chinese doctor who was being interviewed. Now, he was so sick that they even had to put him on assisted breathing with a ventilator. Now, he says that 2 things help him to survive. Those are his words. Faith. 2, trust in those who are taking care of them. He says when you contract the virus and you lose faith, you are likely to die. He says even when it is difficult, when you have faith, you will survive. So this is a word of a Chinese doctor who was being interviewed. And there are other people in other countries who said they thought they were dead, but they believe they have been healed. So there are some people who believe the God factor. Yes. Generally, people who lose hope, who don't have faith in somebody greater than them, for us Christians, God, usually succumb to diseases and other things. So when your faith is strong, you are able to overcome these things. As I said, there is no cure. But what we can do is do things that will improve our immunity. That includes healthy lifestyle. Eat healthy food. Eating healthy food means cutting down your complex, your simple sugars. Taking more of fruits and vegetables. If you have to take bread, you take brown bread or wheat bread. So cutting down your carbohydrates and eating more of fruits and vegetables. Then there are some seeds and nuts which contain antioxidants, vitamins, and other things. When you eat said things, it improves your immunity. To improve your immunity, you need good sleep. Where good sleep means between 6 to 8 hours. But somebody has said great thinkers sleep less than 6 hours. But know that at the expense of your health. Then exercise. You have to do exercise. Exercise also improves your immunity. Somebody is asking about lockdown. Whether it will come or it will not come, we don't know. But Ghana should do it to suit our condition. There are some people, if they don't go to the market to sell, they might not eat. If we say store food in your house, how many people can store food to last for 1 week? It might not be possible. So we might have to do it, modify it so that it will suit the population. There are places where families who stay indoors are given some money. They supply them with food and other things you order online. 60% of Ghanaians, I read in the newspaper, stay in compound houses. If you say lockdown, they should stay indoors. They will come out to share water, bath houses, toilets. It defeats the purpose of this lockdown. It's very difficult. Then there is a question of, will the cure or vaccine I have about 7 questions. I will finish very soon. Will the cure or vaccine which is applied to animals also apply to humans? No. The virus used to be an animal, now it's a human being. It has adapted. So a vaccine which will work for animal might not work for human being. And even human being, as I'm talking, there are 2 strains of the virus. They said there is the L and the S. If you create a virus for L and somebody has S, it will not work. So the vaccine should be specific for a particular species. Why does the virus affect only the lungs and not the stomach? Now, I think I missed that. There are some instances where people who have the virus exhibit some gastrointestinal, their stomach upset, diarrhea. And it is even believed, this one came later, that there can be fecal transmission. If feces saw the environment, you can also, there are instances, but those are fewer cases. Most cases are respiratory. There are instances of having diarrhea and feces contaminating the surfaces. Do you think Ghana is ready for a lockdown? As a health personnel, I wish we go for lockdown. But living in a society is very difficult. Somebody has written today's graphic the reason why I think Ghana is not ready for lockdown. But it gets to a time we have no option. Because if the disease starts spreading in the community, a lot of people are sent to the hospitals, and our hospitals are not able to handle it. You have no option for a lockdown. Others have tried it. So our social services will have to improve, government will have to spend money. There should be means to send people food to their homes, water to their homes when it's requested. If that is done, then probably we are ready for lockdown. But as a medical person, I know lockdown has been very effective in managing transmission of COVID-19 in certain countries. We can also learn from that. So please, activities that are not very necessary, if possible, stay away. Is there conspiracy theory about the virus? Conspiracy theories never cease. Americans are blaming Chinese. Chinese are blaming America that they are biological weapon. People are giving a lot of conspiracy theories. The heart of man is desperately wicked. There is nothing that an evil man will not do. For us at now, those who have studied the virus believes the virus comes from nature and not from a lab. But who knows? It's a possibility. But us at now, those who have studied the virus think it comes from an animal. That particular animal is even not known particular. They are speculating it will be a seafood, a bat, or some animals that are sold in some Chinese market. So these are the issues. It's a new virus. So we are still learning. We don't know everything. But let's keep safe. Protect yourself, your family, your loved ones, and your community. And when God is merciful on us, we know we shall overcome because everybody is stressed out. Let me mention psychological support during this time. I think believers, this is the time to exhibit faith. There are instances where in Italy, Brazil, people stay in their homes. They have been asked not to go out. But everybody comes to their window and they start singing praises or singing the national anthem to show that we are together. We can fight it. If we lose hope, we'll be conquered. So let's keep the faith. Let's keep praying. Let's do what the professionals tell us. And I think we shall overcome. Thank you.
We shall overcome. Thank you very much, Dr. Arthur. And this is Maranatha Assemblies of God viewers, our cherished viewers. Thank you for your time. But before we go, there's one last question. One last question we'd like to ask. Somebody is asking about the central region, whether there is a recorded case or there is a case which is similar to that one, or because there are some rumors going around, like around Sweden, so we want to find out whether it is true or not.
From where I am in the region, I know about 19 people have been tested and they all turn out to be negative. If there are new developments, I'm not aware. But in central region, we have suspected cases. We have sent specimens to Noguchi. All have come out negative. Now let's know that before this coronavirus came, there were respiratory diseases. People have asthma, people have chronic chest infection, pneumonia, people have sore throat and other things. So it's not everything that is coronavirus. But we should have high index of suspicion so that not even one case slip our hands into the community. That could be difficult.
Wow. Alright, so we bless God and we thank God. Believers, wherever you are watching us from, kindly join us and let's be praying together. We are in this together. And as God said, let's stand on our feet, as well as taking all the precautions necessary. So at this juncture, we'll call on our Reverend Mr. Reverend Lawyer Luca to come and close us.
Ladies and gentlemen, from what our medical doctor has said, professional doctor has said, though we are taking the precautions to curb this pandemic, there is great hope for the world. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him, and doctor was right when he mentioned at such a time as this, the nations of the world can put our trust in the one who created us. God created us in his own image, after his own likeness. He loves us so much. He wants us to have eternal fellowship with Him. And our fellowship starts on the planet Earth. Our fellowship with Him begins with the nations of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, God loves every nation. It is never His wish that we should perish. That is why He sent His only begotten Son. And Doctor has told us that at such a time as this, we need to build our confidence and our trust in the Lord. We need to have faith in the Lord. Let's close our eyes as we join in prayer. The one who created us is far more abundantly able to deliver us and to set us free. Our Most High God, King of kings and Lord of lords, we thank you for your power, Father, to deliver and to save and to protect. We thank you that, Lord, you are the Almighty, you are the King of kings, you are the Lord of lords, the God who created mankind in His own image after His own likeness. Father, at such a time as this, you are our confidence, you are our refuge, you are our fortress, you are our defense, you are our dwelling place, you are our protector, you are our healer. You sent forth your word to the nations of the world to heal all our diseases. O God of heavens, we pray that release your power, your healing power from Gilead, and touch all those nations who have been affected. Touch individuals, and touch those who have been quarantined, and those at various hospitals and homes, Lord, who have been affected with this disease. We pray in the name of Jesus that, Lord, touch us with your healing, and let your power, Father, arrest these viruses and give the whole world, the nations of the world, peace. And peace I live with you, not as the world giveth I unto you, but peace, my own peace, I give unto you. O God of heavens, you are our peace. Jesus, you are our peace. We pray that touch everyone and heal us. We give you praise and honor and adoration. That in no time, this pandemic will cease to be a thing of nothing. We give you praise and honor and adoration for having heard our prayers. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
We want to seize this opportunity and express our sincerest gratitude to our audience, all those who make time to listen to the doctor and to also pray with us. May the Lord richly bless you. Here is Maranatha Assemblies of God, a branch of the Assemblies of God in Cape Coast, behind the Municipal Assembly. And our guest speaker, one who spoke to us, is Dr. Justice Atta. May God richly bless you. Please, Sunday, exactly 8 o'clock, we shall be on this same platform, social media, and minister to the nations of the world. May God richly bless you. Don't forget the time, Sunday, from 8 to 9:30. Our Sunday school will take about 30 minutes, worship and praise 30 minutes, and then preaching, teaching will be 30 minutes. So